Okay, guys, let's review what we've covered so far in this lecture and what we still have to do. We talked about the purpose of marketing and meeting customer needs and wants and USPs. We talked about marketing to current customers versus new customers, how it's cheaper with current customers and expensive to get new customers, many other things. We talked about the USP. We talked about branding versus direct. If I ask you a couple of 1, 2, 3 things to characterize direct, I want to hear offer. I want to hear call to action. I want to hear measurability and testing. I want to hear databases. Those are the kinds of things I want to hear, cutting through all the charts and slides and everything else. We talked about B2B versus B2C. We talked about the fact that B2B, you have a smaller database, that each customer could be worth lots and lots of money, which means you have an opportunity for personal selling and client entertainment. We talked about segmenting B2B based on industry mostly. And now we've got 2 more areas to cover in this week's lecture. One is approach to planning, and the other is giving an effective presentation. And I'm doing both of these now. These are covered in your books. Well, the presentation maybe not so much, but the planning certainly is. There's quite a bit about SWOT analyses and other things. It's one of the reasons I like your book so much. We're doing these things now because it's going to help you get a start on your workshop presentation and even the presentation you're doing next week about the 4 companies. Okay? So we have approach to planning, giving an effective presentation. Let's get going. So, when we're building a marketing plan, it's useful to have a mission and a vision for the company. So we always start macro and then go micro. So where's the company going? What's it supposed to do? What's its purpose in the world? These things need to be figured out within the company and codified into a set of very plain, simple words anyone can understand. We need to have objectives, and these are going to be business objectives. And it usually starts with, guess what? Revenue, profits. You may also have objectives for your loyalty rate, for how many new customers you got, for your cost per new customer. You may also have objectives beyond that in terms of community relations for a company, charitable support, employee training, employee advancement, employee success. So I think more and more it's recognized that companies aren't just profit-making machines for shareholders, but that they serve their employees and they serve their communities. And you need to have objectives in each area that are measurable. Now, so now you've got an overall direction and thing you want to accomplish, and you have more specific quantifiable objectives in all the key areas where you operate. Then you need to know the business. You need to know what's going on with the business when you do a plan. So you're doing secondary research, primary research if necessary. If you're on a piece of business, you're looking at all the data. What happened on the business in the past year? Did it go up or down? Did you win share versus your competitors or lose share? What did you learn from your competitors? What did you do well? What didn't you do well? And by knowing all this and doing all this research, you're going to get a group of key people together, a team, usually a cross-functional team, somebody from operations, somebody from marketing, somebody from finance, somebody from personnel, whatever the key functional areas are in your company. And you're going to do creative planning. You're going to do a SWOT session. That is strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. Some people call it SWOP with a P. So the last thing rather than threats is problems. You're going to blue sky all those things. You're going to write them down and stick them up on white paper all over the room. And that's a SWOT planning session. You're eventually going to put things that are more or less the same problem or related together So you end up not with 42 problems to solve, but with a finite group of problems you can focus on and opportunities you can focus on. And once you've done that, you're going to develop strategies. Again, this could be each area on its own having their own strategy creative sessions. And you're going to come up with ways to solve these problems, take advantage of these opportunities, all within the plan's objectives. And this boils itself down into action plans, and timetables, and budgets for exactly what you're going to do, what you're going to test, what you're going to accomplish in the next year. It turns out to have a timetable and a budget. And typically, if it's a presentation, you're going to have next steps. What do we do next? So let's just start with the mission statement. I'm not a big one for having a mission and a vision statement. I think it's confusing to have two things. I think you just pick one for my money. And it's basically where are we going and why? What are we doing here in this world? What's our purpose? And I showed these visuals because basically what direction are we sailing? Where are we trying to get? What are we trying to discover? I mean, that's your mission. And as you may know, my MindSpring account settings are out of date. And once again, I'm annoyingly being reminded of that. It's my personal email. So your goals could be making money for shareholders, could be delivering outstanding products or services to your customers. For your customers, your most important constituency, maybe next to your employees. One of your goals is to provide good living and workplace for employees to make a difference in the community. Why are we here? Where are we headed? You boil that down into a mission statement. How many of you know the mission statement for FIT? Here it is. Hint, you might want to not memorize the words. You don't have to do that, but you better know what it's saying. What are the key ideas here? Okay. That's a mission statement. Here's a mission statement for, I keep picking on Wells Fargo because it really is my favorite messed up company of all. And we're going to be hearing a presentation on Wells Fargo next week. But this is their mission statement in 2015. Hardy har har har. Earning lifelong relationships, one customer at a time, is fundamental to achieving our vision, which is to satisfy our customers' financial needs and help them succeed financially. Whether we're helping a student open a first checking account, a young family purchasing a home, a business owner expand, or retiree manage investments, you notice those are all speaking to different product lines. We are on our customers' side, offering them the products and services they want and need. We believe the best way we can earn our customers' business is to listen and understand their needs. Now that's, given what they actually did, that is one of the biggest jokes and travesties I've ever seen in the business world. I mean, it's ridiculous. Some consultant wrote that thing for them and nobody ever looked at it. I wonder what their mission statement is now. I wonder if our group team presenting on Wells Fargo can find out if it's changed and tell us next week. So, again, this is the SWOT analysis. You will be using SWOT analysis for the Ocean Spray case study. And the thrust, we're going to be talking about it next week. We're going to review the case study that was prepared by the client for the National Student Advertising Competition. I have a copy of it. And their goal is to how do they get more millennial customers? So their customer base is aging. How do they attract more millennials? That is your mission, should you choose to accept it. And that's the goal, but you're going to be doing secondary research and primary research on Ocean Spray. Find out as much as you can so you can do a good SWOT analysis and then come up with strategies and plans to address that issue. I see I misspelled opportunities. I apologize. So that is the end of this section. The next area we're getting into is presenting, how to give an effective presentation. I'm going to stop and pick up again.